Hey guys, and welcome back to another mini structures video. Today I'll be showing you how to build an entire end city in just a 7x7 block area. And so this is what we have for the itty bitty end city. And this one's a bit taller than some of the other mini structures, but it still fits within its 7x7 area. And we were able to get 3 different buildings on this tower, as well as a little tower that branches off, and even the boat going away from the end city. And one thing that I just thought of that'd be really cool is to build this out on either one of these little islands, or you could also make your own little island to have the mini end city on its own mini island. So normally I would tell you guys about the end city before we get to work on building this, but we're just going to get straight to work on building this, and I'll tell you guys about the Minecraft end city at the end of the video if you want to stick around. So the build space on the floor is once again 7x7 blocks, and the tower is also 15 blocks tall, or kind of more, 14.5. And now for the materials you're going to need to build this. It's 12 endstone bricks, 14 endstone walls, 8 endstone stairs, and then for purple blocks we have 8 purple blocks, 11 stairs, 36 slabs, 13 pillars, and then also 8 magenta glass. And as some optional stuff, I have some course plants that you could plant down on the floor if you want to have some little course plants next to the end city. I also have a pickaxe since that's what works best on all this material. It would also be nice to have silk touch on here to mine up the glass, but that's not really needed. Final thing I have is scaffolding, since this building is a bit taller than some of the others. So I switched over to survival and got everything we're going to need to build this. I also brought 32 endstone, and we're just going to be using that as a place off a block to place in some stairs and different things like that, but you could pretty much use any block you want. So now let's get started on this. And I think with that we have our end city all finished up. It looks like we actually have some blocks remaining, and I'm pretty sure that's because on the other one I wasn't using any endstone, so I think we had some of these purple blocks and different things inside there when it could really just be anything like the endstone. But it looks like we have our entire end city all built up. And here's one thing that you could change if you don't care about it being inside the 7x7 block area, is on the actual end city, the boat's going directly away from the end city. On this one, it's kind of going to the side of it. It's a bit weird, because here's the little bridge thing that's launching away from. Normally it's directly going away from it, so you can't just turn this boat over into that direction so it goes the way it's supposed to. It would break the 7x7 area, but probably most of the time that wouldn't really matter. So let's actually just do that real quick to see what it looks like. So there's all the blocks we're going to need. We're going to get rid of this one now, and then we're just going to extend this thing out a bit, place in a block like that, place in the start of our ship, place in this one, the slab on the back, and that would be a ship going away from it in a bit more realistic of a way. And here's one more thing we have left to do. So in our pockets we had the 3 coarse fruit still, so let's go place in those. And so when you place them in, they're going to look like this, and what you kind of need to do is wait for them to grow, and once they grow you could just break the spot where they've grown, and it looks like we're already getting there. And then once you break the top off of it, these will stay how they are, and you could just have some little coarse plants in front of your little end city. And so there we go, that's how you build up an entire itty bitty end city. And normally on these videos I talk about the structure we're building up, and so let's go into everything about the Minecraft end city. So the end city is a skyscraper-like maze of towers made out of purple blocks and endstone bricks. So you find these on the outer islands of the end dimension, in the specific biome of the end highlands and end midlands, which are pretty much these bigger islands with the coarse plants growing on them. So the outer islands is actually the land which surrounds the first main island you pop up onto to fight the ender dragon. So you could actually make it to the outer islands from that first island by just using elytra or bridging all the way here, or using a flying machine or anything like that, but it's going to be a pretty far journey of about 1,000 blocks of nothing but the empty void. But the good news is you don't have to make that journey if you fight the ender dragon, because it'll actually open up a gateway portal that will bring you to the outer islands, because each time you spawn in the ender dragon using end crystals and you defeat him, you'll get a new portal to a random spot in the outer islands. And once you're out here, you'll find nothing more than these islands, empty void, coarse plants, and the rare structure, the end city. So this has a pretty good chance of being the very last structure you make it to, since you have to defeat the final boss and make it over the void of the end to find one of these rare structures. And the 2 biggest rewards they have for finding one of these structures are the shulkers right here, which you could kill to get a chance of dropping a single shulker shell. Sorry, but I wanted to pause the video real quick to show you guys how long it takes me to get some of these lines. This one is just too funny. A single shulker, drop a single shulker, chance to drop a single shulker, which if killed have a chance to drop a single shulker shell. And that's one of the hardest things to say. And if you get 2 of those and you combine it with a chest, you can make a shulker box, which is much like a backpack, and you could carry the same amount as a small chest, but you could carry it into your pockets as a single shulker box item. And the other 2 really unique things you could find here are the dragon skulls, which spawn on the boat of the end islands, and I'm pretty sure an end city has about an 80% chance to have a boat at it, so not every single one is going to have a boat, but the boats are extremely valuable because of both that dragon head and the elytra inside. So the elytra paired with both rockets allow you to fly through the survival world a lot like Creative. Another thing you could find in both the end ship as well as some of the tower rooms are loot chests, which contain every single item you see up on the screen, and it's pretty much the same for both Java and Bedrock. So the other places you could find chests are at the top of these 3-story towers, so you can see we have 3 different segments, and in the top here you'll find an ender chest as well as a loot chest. You could also find chests in the top of these towers, which these ones are actually filled completely with shulkers, so you have a whole bunch of shulkers inside of here, and if you make it to the top you'll have 2 loot chests up here right in the corner. And it's nothing too exciting, but I'll put up on the screen every single block you could find in these end structures, but it's pretty much just endstone bricks, purple blocks, and some other random stuff like ladders and chests. And these end cities are also lit up with end rods, which you could get from the building itself, or you could also use the coarse plants, and I believe blaze powder together to make your own end rods. And I guess the final thing I have to say about this is almost every end city is unique and different. I actually got super lucky with this one. I was able to show you guys a pretty cool one. So this is not what you should expect when searching for end cities. This one is pretty giant and has a lot going on. We have 2 of those big shulker column rooms, and we have quite a few chest rooms scattered throughout here, and even a boat, but I'll put up an image of an end city I once found, and it's just pretty pathetic. So I'm pretty sure that's everything about the end city. A quick recap is you'll find the shulkers here, which naturally generate here but don't spawn here. So once you kill off all the shulkers in the end city, they won't respawn and you can't get any more, which does actually mean they're a finite resource. The shulker shells, you could also get the elytra, which are also a finite resource, since the only place to find them is in the front spot of those end ships. You can also find some dragon skulls on here, and the only other mob you'll find on the end city besides shulkers are just endermen, because they just spawn in anywhere in the end. And I think that's pretty much everything to do with the end city. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed learning about the end city and building up your own itty bitty end city. So thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.